Hello again, folks. Right, apart from having the chance to watch Belfast last night, which I've just talked about, I also had the chance to watch another Oscar contender called The Power of the Dog. Oh, blimey, this one's a completely different kettle of fish to Belfast. It was directed by Jane Campion. It is described as a Western psychological drama. Now, I went into this thinking it was just a Western. I'd seen the trailer, and for some reason, I got it into my head. It was set in the Wild West, and it's not. Well, it is. It's set in Montana in 1925. It concerns two brothers, George and Phil Burbank, who are cattle ranchers, played by Jesse Plemons and Benedict Cumberbatch. I can never say his name right. Now, Phil is I can only describe him as a completely vile human being. He's bitter. He's just a horrible man. Very offhand with people. His brother is completely the opposite. He's very bookish. Doesn't really work the ranch very much. Tends to deal with sort of the business side of things. And he meets a widow, played by Kirsten Dunst, who has a son, played by Cody Smith McPhee. And they decide to get married, move to the ranch, which Phil absolutely hates the idea of. He describes his wife as a suicide widow, and calls the son, Peter, Mr. I think he was Miss Nancy. He's a very feminine boy, and he is. And you just know from the minute you see him, there is no way that he's going to fit in with this ranch crowd. And you're not wrong. It's a difficult film to watch. It is, as I say, a Western psychological drama. If you're looking for a film with gunfights and action and stuff like that, this is absolutely not for you. This is a real slow burner, but it is beautifully done. Really, really clever. A kind of a relationship develops eventually between young Peter and Phil. But only after many uncomfortable scenes between them, between Phil and his mother. It's beautifully done. I mean, the actual where it's set it's a gorgeous place. The performances are magnificent. I can't fault them. I did, however, have a couple of issues, which I mentioned last night when I posted on Facebook. I'm not a great fan of scenes of animals being not tortured, but animals in distress, that kind of thing. I just don't like it. And there were a couple of scenes, and I will tell you, just in case you're thinking of watching this, there is a scene where Phil gets basically very wound up and starts slapping a horse across the head, and this horse does look genuinely scared as it backs away from him. It's an awful scene. And then a little bit later on, I'll even tell you when it is so you can be ready for it, like I was. All the scenes are set in chapters. You've got like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. After chapter 4 opens, probably about 3 minutes into it, there is the most horrendous scene of the castration of a bull. Oh, wow. I'd read about it, and I was absolutely, literally dreading seeing this. It wasn't quite as graphic as I thought it would be, but it is still pretty nasty. Now, they're the only two real issues that I had with it, and I believe PETA, the animal rights people, have been all over this, even though there is the usual warning at the end stating that no animals were harmed. It is very difficult to believe that is true. I don't know, but PETA have been all over this, trying to get prosecutions and all sorts. Now, take away those two scenes, and what you've got is an absolutely brilliant film that I would absolutely, definitely watch again. Um, I'm not in favour of censorship in any way, shape, or form. I think we should all be allowed to watch whatever we want to watch. But for me personally, if I was going to buy a copy of this on Blu-ray, if it ever happened, I would just prefer a version where those two scenes were cut. The rest of it I could just about cope with. As I say, it's uncomfortable viewing, but again, like Belfast, I can see why this has got the acclaim that it's got, and also the Oscar nominations that it's received. I can definitely see that this is another one that's got Best Picture written all over it. I mean, if I had to choose between this one and Belfast, I would definitely choose Belfast. It's a much more uplifting experience. This is just, it's intense, and it is intense. And anybody that watches this, I would I really would like to know what you make of the ending. Did you see what, let me get this right. When you've watched it, I want you to tell me whether what you think happened actually happened. And I don't want to give anything away because the ending makes the whole thing worthwhile for me. I didn't see it coming. I thought it was absolutely amazing, but I wasn't sure after I'd seen it. I thought, did did that happen? So anybody that does watch it, just either drop me a message or put something in the comments or a post on the page, and just tell me what it is you think happened. Obviously with no spoilers, um, but the way I saw it in a certain way, and the ending has caused a little bit of controversy as the rest of the picture has. But I would be very curious to know whether what I saw is what you saw. So if you do get the chance to watch it, let me know on that. But The Power of the Dog itself is a superb film. It really is great. Take away those two scenes of animal cruelty, and you've got near enough the perfect film. So yeah, I would highly, highly recommend it. Just be aware going in that these ranchers are not very kind to animals at all. And I know it's a bit of it's a man's world, and this, that, and the other, the cowboys and the ranchers, and this, that, and the other. But the toxic masculinity in this is just unbearable to watch sometimes. And as I say, the scenes between Benedict Cumberbatch and Cody Schmidt McPhee are just deeply uncomfortable to watch. But they do develop a bond in the end. But as I say, when you come to the last 10 minutes, it all kind of makes sense. But I would be very curious to know whether you see what I see on that one. So, right, that's my thoughts on Power of the Dog. If you've enjoyed this, just give me a thumbs up, and also subscribe. That would be brilliant. And I'll be back a little bit later on with my usual 15 minutes worth of aimless prattle. Take care, folks, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Ta-ra.